The snow started at 3 in the afternoon on Christmas Eve and never let up. By 7, the little town of Willow Ridge, Vermont, looked like the inside of a snow globe someone had shaken too hard. Street lamps glowed through the falling flakes like tired gold circles on the empty sidewalks. Ethan Caldwell stood on the corner of Maple and Elderberry, his 6-year-old daughter Maisie asleep against his chest, her boots dangling. He had meant to be home hours ago. One last client meeting in Burlington had turned into 3, then dinner he couldn't refuse, then the storm warnings. Now the roads out of town were closed, the last train south had left, and every hotel within 30 miles was full of stranded travelers. Maisie's cheeks were cold roses. Her mittens were soaked. Ethan shifted the weight of her and his briefcase and started walking, because walking was the only thing left to do. He had almost passed the tiny bakery on Elderberry Lane when the glow from its window caught him. A hand-painted sign read Harbor Light Bakery in curling green letters. Below it, someone had taped a piece of notebook paper. Open until 8. Come in from the cold. Ethan pushed the door. A bell jingled like a small silver laugh. Warmth rolled over them. Cinnamon, orange zest, browned butter, pine from the little tree in the corner. Behind the counter stood a woman in a red apron, sleeves pushed up, flour on her forearms. She looked maybe 35, dark hair escaping its braid, eyes the color of strong coffee. A boy of 9 or 10 was wiping tables with fierce concentration. The woman looked up and smiled the tired, genuine smile of someone who had been on her feet since 4 a.m.
Evening.
You two look like you've been through it. We have, Ethan said. His voice cracked from cold and something else. I don't suppose you have anything a hungry 6-year-old would like? And coffee that could resurrect the dead. She laughed softly. I can manage both.
I'm not a Hayes.
This is my son Leo. The boy gave a shy wave without stopping his wiping. Ethan set Maisie on a chair. She stirred, blinked, then stared at the glass case the way pilgrims once stared at stained glass. Sprinkle cookie, she whispered, as if asking for the moon. Nora slid one onto a plate before Ethan could even reach for his wallet. On the house for new snow angels, they sat at the small table by the window. Maisie ate half the cookie in 2 bites and promptly fell asleep again, head on Ethan's arm. He drank the coffee like it was medicine. Nora kept moving, boxing unsold pies, turning off the open sign, counting the till with the slowness of someone who already knew the bad news. Leo finished the tables and came to stand beside his mother. He was thin, elbows sharp under his sweater, but his eyes were bright and unafraid. Mom, can I give the man and the little girl the day-old cinnamon rolls? So they don't go to waste. Nora's face went scarlet.
Leo.
It's okay, Ethan said quickly. We'd be grateful. But Leo wasn't done. He looked straight at Ethan. We always save the day-olds for the shelter, but tonight the van can't get through the snow. And you look hungry. Ethan felt it ripple through every tired bone. He thought of the credit cards maxed out on funeral flowers 11 months ago. Of the nanny who quit last month because he couldn't pay her on time. Of the fridge at the hotel suite that contained 1 yogurt and half a box of cereal. He looked at Nora. Really looked. The apron was patched. The sweater had been washed so many times the elbows shone. And still she stood straight, chin up, pride and exhaustion braided together. How much to buy everything that's left, he asked. Nora blinked. I'm sorry. Everything in the cases. All of it. I'll pay full price, and you can close early. Go home. Be with your boy on Christmas Eve. Her mouth opened, closed. Sir, there's easily $800-900 worth. I can do that. Leo's eyes went huge. Nora shook her head. You don't understand. We're closing after New Year's. Landlord sold the building. Some developer wants to put in a parking lot for the new ski lodge. Tonight's probably our last night. The confession hung between them like frost. Ethan felt the same hollowness he'd carried since Claire died, the sense that the world was a machine that kept grinding forward no matter who got caught in the gears. He pulled out his phone, made 3 calls while Nora stared, and Leo held his mother's hand. When he hung up, he said quietly, How much do you need to buy this building outright? Nora laughed, a broken sound. More than anyone sane would pay for a failing bakery in a dying town. Try me, she told him. The number was staggering to her. Pocket change to the private equity fund Ethan had quietly built over 15 years and sold 6 months ago for more money than he knew how to feel about. She told him. The number was staggering to her. Pocket change to the private equity fund Ethan had quietly built over 15 years and sold 6 months ago for more money than he knew how to feel about. He didn't flinch.
Done.
My attorney will wire it tonight. You'll own this building free and clear by morning. Nora's knees buckled. Leo caught her before she hit the floor. Ethan crouched, so he was eye level with the boy. Your mom works hard, right? Leo nodded. And you help her every day after school? Another nod. That's the bravest thing I've seen in a long time. He turned back to Nora, who was crying without sound. I lost my wife last January. I know what it feels like to keep the lights on for someone else while your own heart is going dark. Let me do this. Not charity. Investment. In cookies. In Christmas. In second chances. Nora wiped her face with the sleeve that had once been red. Why us? Because your son asked if we were hungry, Ethan said. And nobody's asked me that since Claire died. They closed the shop together. Ethan paid for every loaf, every tart, every cookie. Then he called the one favor he had left in the world, his old college roommate who now owned half the short-term rentals in Vermont. By 9:30, Nora and Leo had the keys to a furnished cottage 2 blocks away, heat on, stockings hung by someone else's fireplace because Ethan asked. He carried sleeping Maisie through the snow to the cottage. Nora carried the box of leftover cinnamon rolls like it was the baby Jesus himself. Inside, the house smelled of pine and possibility. Leo plugged in the tree lights and gasped at the colors. Maisie woke long enough to declare it the best Christmas house ever. They ate cinnamon rolls on paper towels because no one could find plates yet. Nora made cocoa with the only packet in the cupboard. Ethan told stories about Claire, how she used to dance in grocery aisles, how she sang off-key to Maisie in the hospital the night before she slipped away. Nora told her own stories. How her husband walked out when Leo was 2. How she learned to bake at her grandmother's knee. How the bank had called the loan 3 weeks ago. At 11, Maisie and Leo were asleep under the same blanket on the couch, cheeks flushed, mouths sticky. Ethan and Nora sat at the kitchen table with cooling cocoa. I don't know how to thank you, she whispered.
Stay open, he said.
Make this town smell like cinnamon every morning. Teach Leo that the world still has soft places. That's thanks enough. She studied him across the candles someone had left burning. What about you? Where will you go tomorrow? He looked at Maisie's small hand curled around Leo's finger in sleep. I think we might stay a while. Maisie starts school again in January. Willow Ridge has a pretty good elementary, I hear. Nora's smile was slow, like dawn. We could use a regular who likes sprinkle cookies. Outside, the snow kept falling, gentle now, forgiving. Inside, 2 broken families borrowed each other's pieces and found, for the first time in a long time, they almost made a whole. Much later, when the children were tucked into real beds and the house was quiet, Ethan stood on the porch. The street lamp painted the snow gold. Down the block, the bakery's signs still glowed faintly. Harbor Light. He thought of Claire, somewhere beyond the snow, and felt her smile. He whispered into the night, I found the light you told me to look for. And somewhere in the hush after Christmas Eve, he believed she heard him. Merry Christmas to the hungry, to the helpers, to the ones brave enough to ask, and the ones wise enough to answer. The light on Elderberry Lane stayed on all night. And it is still on tonight.